What's up, guys? Brian back from the PT channel here to talk about some life as a physical therapist this week. Just been crazy as usual, but got some notes here because in a work week you just got some things to talk about, but just to jump in my head and kind of get a little focus with it. But basically, it was a crazy week and a slow week all at the same week, if that's possible. One day was jam-packed, the other couple days were a little slow. That's just how it works in the world of physical therapy, life, hour to hour, clinic to clinic, day to day. It can be crazy. 1 hour you can have 3-4 patients, the next you can have a cancellation or one patient or whatever. But because I know 1 hour I wrote 3 patients an hour, I was seeing pretty average rate on there too. So that's pretty tough to do. To see really 2, 3, 4 is really tough to do. But you can do it if you're familiar with the patients. You have a good amount of patient population. You can kind of do hands-on with one while another person is exercising, get one on the bike, kind of manage it, get one started earlier, and kind of just get it going to manage your time the best you can. You got to be a multitasker and manage. That's a big part of physical therapy. So any students or anything that watch this, that's really important to do. They're not really going to teach you that in PT school. They're going to teach you like, do this special test, talk to someone, do that. You have to be jumping around and figuring out what to do while doing documentation a little bit at a time, do all this. Because I'm a person who gets my notes done right away. I don't wait till the next day or days later. I work with some staff that gets their notes done right away. I have ones that finish days, even a week later. Some notes it's pretty terrible, and that holds things up because the person can't really finish the note if the other one's not completed. So you never want to be the one dragging someone down or holding on you. But basically, I had also an evaluation with a treat or a return patient the same hour, which I do not recommend at all. You have to jump around. You can't really focus with one patient or another exactly at the same time. So that's the company I work for's idea. I would never do that. I don't recommend that. It's very inefficient actually doing your job. It's efficient and with efficiency standards of treating patients because you're getting 2 the same hour, which is good for that. But developing your patient care and really being there for the person from the beginning, you're kind of jumping away. Is that the tone that you want to set from day one? Not really, I don't. But so basically, I got a note here was that I did a treatment with an evaluation the same hour. So I had a return patient that I did see before, so it was kind of easier on that, and it was good. But it's brand new patient, an evaluation he's never seen before typically. Sometimes you see return patients and they're an evaluation, but you've seen them before for something else or even the same body part based on insurances and stuff. But it wasn't. It was a neck, back, and left foot. Great, right? So you have to look at the neck, the back, and the left foot, and you're trying to do that within a half hour's time state. And hopefully you got the paperwork done and everything, but it's a terrible idea to have more than one thing going on, and that's just the company's mindset. I don't recommend it. I would never do that if I was running my own company or anything like that. It's just terrible. Another thing is that I was talking to a couple patients, and you want to avoid locking out your knee joints when you're doing leg press, leg extensions, anything at all, because you're going to work the joint instead of the muscle itself. It was really eye-opening for the guy because he had some knee joint irritation where he had surgery months ago, but he was going to the gym and he was locking that knee out when he was doing that extension. He was going all the way up. Or you do a leg press and you get your legs all the way straight, and that was terrible. So you don't want to do that. You work the joints and by doing that way, but you don't ever want to do it. You want to work the muscles. So the other thing is I had 2 evals that were memorable for 2 different reasons, and I'll end on this note. But I had one guy who went to another one of the clinics, the company that I worked for, and was seen one time and then never came back. But when I went to go get him at the front, I'm like, hey, so-and-so, come on back. And he's like, I can't. My legs don't work. I can't get up. So I'm like, okay, let's see what we got here. All right, grab my back and my belt. So this big guy weighs 270, 280 pounds. He can't put weight on his right leg. He said that he fell. He woke up one morning and he fell, and his leg hasn't been able to work since. And this was 2 years ago. So which is terrible, and it's frustrating. So he was frustrated and everything too. I've never seen this guy before, but he saw a doctor, he saw this, he saw that. He's even seen another therapist of ours, but never came back. And he literally could not push up. He was 275 pounds or whatever, and he was pushing up with his arms. He was trying to push, and he couldn't do it. So I had to give him his assistance. So he was a contact guard, really mid assist on that right side. He had left leg and both arms to push himself up, but he's got diabetes and he's got a couple other things. So I get him in the back. He's got a walker. He can walk. He can do things there too, but he just can't get out of the chair unless it's elevated too. We came to the conclusion that we had to put a pad underneath to raise the seat, and he could get up, not great, but easier. He could actually get up, and it was very unsafe, so we have to work on that too. And he was very combative with therapy. Well, what am I going to do? My leg doesn't work. I can't work it. I can't do this. So I was trying to do active assist with some stimulation of the quads, with tapping and some manual techniques. And by the end of it, I got some short arc quad motion back in there too. He was saying, my femoral nerve is damaged. I can't do it. What am I going to do here? This is stupid. And he was raising his voice. And I'm like, well, sir, I've never seen you before. I have to know if you're a candidate for therapy. Because if he's not a candidate for therapy, we can't do it. But by the end of it, I sweet talked him. I did all these things. I get him back on the schedule and everything. It's an insurance fiasco, but that's a whole other thing. But we got him back in there too, and it was just a little crazy and chaotic. So be ready for those type of patients. Not everyone's going to love you and want to work with you. And the last eval I did that I want to talk about was, this is definitely the thing they don't teach you in PT school. You're going to have some weird evals, and this one was weird. So I knew right away that the patient didn't want to be in therapy. You kind of knew right away that the patient was sitting there in the waiting room, giving a look like, all right, let's get this over with. And I was like, all right, come on back. How's your neck and your shoulder doing? And the person came on back, and she was this, and she was doing this, and she said she heard it at work, and she was moving. The person was dead weight, and she strained her neck, but it's right here. It's right here. Yeah. And just gave me this weird look. And I was trying to like talk to her a little bit, getting some information out of her and whatever, and trying to have fun with her because I like to have fun at work, and trying to liven it up a little bit because she could see she was just like really not having it, not really liking life. And then she gives me like out of nowhere, she's like, "How old are you?" And I was like, "Well, oh, okay." I answered, and I was like, "Oh, why? Is that weird? Do I seem older? Do I seem younger? Do I seem whatever?" And she's like, "No, I just wanted to know. How old are you?" And I was like, oh, okay, whatever. So I just tried to be professional and work on it and move along with it. And I was just like, okay, that's great. And I tried to win her back a little bit and get things rolling a little bit, and I did. But, so that was kind of what was going on. So yeah, we had 2 crazy evals, a whole lot of more going on like that too. But one guy was very combative, yelling at me, what are we going to do? Like I'm going to waste this time or anything in therapy. And I was like, I'm not going to waste your time. I'm going to work on things that we can actually get better with. And I'm not going to waste your time. And I won him over a little bit. But I'm at the point now, I've been in therapy for 7.5 years. And I've been like to the point where I'm like, if you don't want to be here, you don't have to be here. I'm not keeping you here. If you're going to be a pain in the butt and you don't want to do any work or you're going to dread coming here, you don't have to come here. And that's just the bottom line. I'm not going to force your hand to be here. So that's just my thing like that too. You get frustrated with it. You have enough patience that you have to be like, well, the benefits of therapy are this, and we can actually do this, and studies shown we can do this, and try to win them over and try to sell therapy. I'm not trying to sell therapy on myself. I can get you better, maybe, possibly give you a straight shooter, see what it is. And then the other lady was just like weird. It was just a weird thing looking at me just like, okay, yeah, how many times I got to come back? How old are you? What is that? I don't want to be here, basically. And it was just weird. So I was like, all right, 6 visits, try and get you in, try to get you better on there. Here's some stretches, like that too. Okay. And I was trying to do palpation with it, and she didn't want anything to do with anything. I don't like to be touched. I'm like, all right, well, we'll do a light touch to see where it is, to discriminate palpation to see where it is. Oh, I understand, but I just don't like to be touched. I was like, all right, great. So that was 2 crazy patients that we have, plus a whole lot more that we actually have seen, but there's just 2 memorable ones that I want to talk about this week. Like, share, subscribe, post comments, questions, what you want to know, what you want to hear about. Life as a PT, always good to know. There are no dumb questions, so I will answer them, and we will definitely get back to you in a timely manner. So like, share, subscribe, guys, and we appreciate your time for checking out this video. And as always, thank you.